Hmm. Tell you what we'll do. In that case. mm, Struggling a bit here with the old internet. Okay. This is very odd. Okay, I have a thought. Let me see what I can do. Right, okay. Hello, everyone. So, there's been a bit of fiddling about here, and I've just been trying to achieve a bit better audio. Hopefully, that is working now. The internet's been a bit finicky, but I appear to have resolved that problem as well. Now, on to. Sorry, sorry. On to resolving other problems. So, sorry, I got distracted. um, right, let's go back to the live stream. Hang on a second. Can I hear myself? How far can I go back? I'm just testing the live stream at this point. Right. Okay, back in business. Right, okay. Hello, everyone. So, there's been a bit of fiddling about here, and I've just been trying to achieve a bit better audio. Hopefully, that is working now. The internet's been a bit finicky, but I appear to have resolved that problem as well. Now, on to. Sorry, sorry. On to resolving other problems. So, right, that sounds good. Okay. Um, Video manager. How does this thing work? That's fine. Where's the button that says live stream? Hang on. View channel. And create a studio. Sorry for the delay. I'm messing about a bit. I'm just trying to sort things out. Right, okay. We can probably get the show on the road now. If you'll pardon the expression. Oh, hang on. No, that's the wrong one. That's the correct one. Okay. Excuse me. So, essentially what's happened is that I have made a few mistakes, and it would appear as though playing Riven with a walkthrough is not necessarily the ideal way of doing things if the walkthrough that you're using is not complete and you somehow manage to fix puzzles or complete puzzles that are in the middle of the game, and you don't have sufficient information to continue, and your viewers catch you out as well. So you can resolve this problem in what I have done is two ways. Start the game again and offer the viewers a superior viewing experience, which I hope that is going to be the case now, and hopefully superior audio. Maybe somebody can let me know. And to use a superior walkthrough guide if you are going to use a walkthrough guide. And as somebody, it was Pixel Passion actually, mentioned, refer to the guide if you need it. The problem with Riven is that, and any Myst game, is that they can be quite complicated. But as I've discovered by using the walkthrough, if you don't find a complete one, you're not going to be able to do that. So I have found the official Riven guide from 1997, and it was published by a company called Prima, and it is Riven, the sequel to Myst, the official strategy guide, and it is credited to Rick Barber, and I'm just wondering what year. 1997, yeah. Pretty sure we had a few guides like this, and the guide is broken up into two parts. One of those parts is the Myst diary. Obviously, Riven is a continuation of Myst, in a sense. And the second part is the walkthrough aspect. But what I thought I would do in order to try and resolve any kind of problems with not being able to continue because I've used a not so brilliant walkthrough guide is to start the game again and to use what I have learned to quickly make my way as far as I can through the game. And if there is any kind of frustration, then obviously we can refer to the walkthrough. So I will be doing that now, and I would just like to thank the viewership in advance for their kind patience. So, without further ado, Riven on this channel, on YouTube, on a virtual box, from a DVD, attempt number 2.
Thank God you've returned. I need your help. There's a great deal of history that you should know, but I'm afraid that I must continue my writing. Here. Most of what you'll need to know is in there. Keep it well hidden. For all reasons you'll discover, I can't send you to Riven with a way out. But I can give you this. It appears to be a linking book back here to Dunny. But it's actually a one-man prison. You'll need it, I'm afraid, to capture Gan. Once you've found Catherine, signal me, and I'll come with a linking book to bring us back. There's also a chance, if this all goes well, that I might be able to get you back to the place that you came from.
Yo? Feliaye. Kataware po. Namudugo po me po. Tagema. Rekoa. Tagema. Musu rekoa. Misirapo. Misirapo. Umutika bukuwa nai. Misirapo. Umutika bukuwa nai. Bukuwa nai. Misirapo. Bukuwa nai. Bukuwa nai. Bukuwa nai. Bukuwa nai.
I think it's me. Okay. First things first. Open Atris's journal in your inventory and read everything. '87-610. They held for more than 30 years, but the corrections I made to Riven have finally failed. The island has assumed the familiar pattern of decay that is the hallmark of my father's work. I must now race to implement this new patch before it's too late. I only hope that my revised theories are sound. 87-616. Revisions to Riven completed. There are still a number of minor adjustments which need to be made, but the basic corrections have been entered and should be working. Something's not right. I've been monitoring the instruments for several hours now, but have thus far observed no change. It's possible that I've made an error, though I've checked my entry against prenotation and can find no discrepancy. I've not had a rest in nearly 3 days, so it may be that I'm just not seeing it. If the fault is with my foundational assumptions, however, perhaps after a short rest, I will see something. 87-618. Success! It appears that my repairs have been effective after all. The gateway image has become noticeably clearer, and although it is impossible to know this with absolute certainty, the island seems to have quieted itself. Just a few more weeks of work, and I should be free, at last, to go there myself and attempt to bring Catherine back. The past 8 months have left me little time to think, to devise a strategy for getting her out of there. I've received no sign from her in all that time. I am afraid that... No, I must assume that she is all right, lest my fears undermine my efforts to bring her back. 87-619. I did not create the Age of Riven. Unlike my father, I have never presumed to have such power. And yet the future of all those who live there has fallen into my hands. So far I've managed to read the book before it turns. No, hang on. So far I've managed to read the page before it turns. The island continues to appear stable, and I would like to believe that I have saved a dying world, but the theories of one individual cannot support the lives of real people indefinitely. I must get everyone off of Riven as soon as possible. The problem now is Gen. I'll never be able to rescue Catherine and relocate the islanders if he is still the man he once was. I haven't seen him in over 30 years, but his history forces me to assume that he is still a threat. His myopic mission to restore the Denis civilization has left too many innocent cultures dying in its wake, and would continue to do so were he to once again be free of the confines of Riven, or the Fifth Age, as he coldly titled it. The universe has been safe from his corruptive influence for the last 33 years, because no one has been able to leave that age, the last linking book out of Riven having been lost in the Star Fissure upon my return to Mist. That was my intention, to maroon my father on Riven by removing all of the existing links to other worlds, and since the art of constructing books had long been lost with the fall of the Denis, he would be trapped there for the remainder of his lifetime, and effectively segregated from the countless other worlds that he would have invaded. In effect, that is what we have achieved, but the way it fell, however, was no one's ideal. Though the sting of the incident has gradually faded from my memory, the deep pain of responsibility for what actually came to be has never left me. At the time it all seemed so clear. Gen's destructive path could not be allowed to continue, but it was never my choice that the innocent inhabitants of Riven, who had already suffered so much, would be the ones to pay for it. Enough. To dwell in the past is to die in the past. The situation is not the same as it was then. The knowledge I've acquired in the years since that time has yet to be applied to this problem. 87-620. I think I have the solution. Why did it not occur to me sooner? I do not know, unless the idea of it had been pushed out with the thought of my sons. A prison book. Many years ago, during a hunting expedition through the ruins of Denis, I chanced upon a formula for the most unusual type of book. Unfortunately, due to the fact that my father was then in the habit of confiscating my discoveries, I was forced to leave it behind. Years later, however, as a part of my efforts to protect the vulnerable worlds linked to the books in my library, I was pleased to find that I could still recall most of the formula, and with little experimentation quickly succeeding in creating one of these devices myself. The procedure is actually quite simple. By altering key lines of text but slightly, a normal linking books connection can be partially severed, such that anyone who attempts to use the book will be permanently trapped in the dark void of the link. That is, unless someone else then uses the book, at which point that person would become trapped, and the first person displaced back into the world. The technique can be applied to books that have already been written, changes to the original text being so slight that anyone who is unfamiliar with the code will be unable to detect them. If indeed my father has not changed, what better bait could there be than a book that appeared to be a link back here to Denis? 87-7-2. Trouble. My nightly analysis of the island's condition has revealed that the tremors have begun again. The pattern, however, is new. The disturbances are the result of changes I have made. This did not at first concern me. However, tremors of this type were one of the possible side effects that I had anticipated during the initial phase of the island's readjustment. Still, in order to verify my assumptions, I decided to calculate again, incorporating the new data. The results were not what I expected. The damage to the understructure is more extensive than I realised. I can no longer go to Riven as planned. Catherine, forgive me. 87-7-3. I must act while I still have time. The signs are barely visible, but there's no question that the island's deterioration is accelerating. Total collapse is imminent, unless I can keep ahead, and that is becoming increasingly difficult to do. With every passing moment, I gain a clearer picture of the incredible chaos that my father's economy of words has yielded. But it is a dismaying process. The complexity of the problem is overwhelming. There is no end to this. The last few days have all but convinced me that the collapse of Riven is inevitable, and that at last I can only strive to delay it now, and hope that at some point the island will become stable enough to risk a rescue attempt. 87-7-7. I think I've come up with a way to subdue the tremors. It will require my exclusive attention for at least a month or two, so it may be necessary to discontinue these journal entries for a while. So we seem to be 6 days later. 87-7-13. Something truly miraculous has happened. Beyond all conceivable probability, someone has finally found my missed linking book and has freed me from this prison. I immediately realised that this could be the solution to my dilemma, and I believe my mysterious benefactor is willing to assist me. I'm still not sure it can work. The logistics of such a scheme are formidable, but the mere fact that it may now be possible for me to continue my repairs to Riven, and yet proceed with my original intent to find Catherine, has given me renewed hope. 87-7-16. The last few days have left me with little time to work out the remaining problems with sending someone to Riven. It did occur to me, however, that if a way could be found to signal me once Gen had been captured, it would no longer be necessary to take a real linking book to Riven and risk the possibility of inadvertently releasing Gen. The deteriorated state of the gateway image makes the use of a visual signal impossible, but the picture remains a reliable indicator of Riven's condition nonetheless, by measuring and interpreting variations in the noise patterns that occur in the age, even though I cannot see them. The problem is that my instruments can only detect changes that occur on a fundamental level, and it seems unlikely that an individual could affect such an elementary change from within an age. The idea may be foolish. Still, there is a known weakness that may be worth investigating, an anomaly that appears as a rift between two separate systems, the star fissure. But how, or even if, this fact could be exploited, I cannot say. Sending someone to Riven also means that once I received the signal that they were all ready to return, I would have to leave my writing in order to take a real linking book there myself. However, provided my father was safely out of the way, this should take very little time. After that, assuming the island does not incur much damage in my absence, it should then be a relatively simple matter to hold it together long enough for Catherine to return to Riven and evacuate the remaining islanders. Predetermining a signal without knowing the topography of the island may prove to be impossible, but I'm afraid there can be only one answer to the question of whether or not I should send my friend to Riven with a way out. The potential for failure will be greatly diminished if the prison book is all but is taken there. I'm sure my father is expecting me to bring a linking book to Riven. May he not be disappointed. That's the end of that journal. Right, okay. So where are we? This is at the opening of the game, and we are at the Temple Island. So there was a prison, and we were let out of the prison, and the person who originally came and took our book from us has been incapacitated and taken away. That is where we arrived, next to this big kind of statue of a dagger. There is a device here. There is a good description in the book of the device. Examine the mechanism. It's some sort of viewing device pointing down at a round plate on the floor. None of the controls work yet. You must direct power to the device first. So there are some levers. There is a viewer here. There is a hatch in the ground. There are some buttons and a ring to pull. There's nothing this way. Oh. Actually. I've never looked off the edge of there before. It's another nice picture. Have a look around, why not? So, as I said in a previous video, the word Riven means to have been violently torn apart. There is some sort of complicated railway system. This is... Oh, 1 second, sorry. Looking the wrong way. This is clearly a bridge. This place is called the Gate Room. The Gate Room is a pentagonal inner chamber that rotates within a circular outer wall. Two of the inner chamber's 5 sides have open doorways. There is one there. There is one there. There are these creatures on the wall, and they are viewers, and you can have a look inside. Let's rotate the room. So if we go forwards now, there's a little spy hole. And the spy hole is useful because it tells you where the interior door has moved to. So we can't see the door anymore. So, as I did in a previous video, if you go down here, oh, there is a locked gate. You can go under the gate. You will notice in the corner of the screen there is the rebel dagger. We've rotated the room and you can access the room from here. This gives us access to another cave. So this is a valve and it pushes power to something, and there is an image on the pipe which actually looks like the mechanism at the beginning of the game, you know, the viewer. There is a switch here. Oh, hang on. There's a door now blocking our way. So these buttons raise gates. Sorry, not buttons, levers. are under the gates. So we're now back in the configuration that we started in, except that the inner gate is now open. So we can now proceed to the massive domed building. So I'll probably stop it there for this video, and what we'll do is we'll come back to this tomorrow, and I will check the recording now and see what the quality is like. I would imagine it's going to be a fair bit better than it has been. And thank you very much for your kind attention, and I will catch you in the next video.